My name is Anup, and this is the second tutorial in a tutorial series about how to solve equations. And the next tutorial in this series is how to solve multi-step equations. So in the last tutorial, we went over how to solve one-step equations like 2x is equal to 4. And just as a review, divide by 2 on both sides, and you get x equals 2. And that is how you solve simple one-step equations. You do the opposite and you do it on both sides and you get your answer. Now, multi-step equation is a little bit more complex because it has more steps. And let's take the example 2x plus 5 is equal to 11. And in this example, you see that we have both multiplication and we have addition. So we need to do two steps in this equation. And here I have written it down for you that you first do the subtraction or the addition, and then you do the multiplication and the division. So in this case, you start with the addition. So if there's addition in the problem, then that means that you are going to be doing subtraction. Again, you still do the opposite. And if you need a refresher, plus, opposite is minus, multiplication, opposite is division. So now, since it's plus, you do the opposite. So essentially, you subtract 5 from both sides. Subtracting from both sides is very important. This applies to all equations. You do the same thing to both sides. So now you subtract 5 from both sides, and you're essentially getting 2x plus 5 minus 5, which is equal to 11 minus 5, because you're subtracting 5 from both sides. And when you simplify this, these two 5's cancel out, because 5 minus 5 is 0. And 11 minus 5 is 6. So now you divide by 2 on both sides. And this gives you x is equal to 3, because 6 divided by 2 is equal to 3. And once again, to check this solution if it is correct, you simply plug it into the original equation. And if you do that, then you get 2 times 3 is plus 5 is equal to 11, which is true. Because 2 times 3 is 6, plus 5 is 11. Now let's move on to other examples of how multi-step equations can be solved. And I will leave these two boxes up here for reference in case you get stuck. So now we have x plus 2 minus 1 is equal to 3. Now, there are two ways we could solve this, and we could use this method where you start with the subtraction or addition, or we could simplify. And I will show both methods. So let's start with this, subtraction or addition. So let's say we start with addition, so we're subtracting 2 on both sides. And now we have x plus 2 minus 1 minus 2 is equal to 3 minus 2. And this plus 2 minus 2 becomes 0 because 2 minus 2 equals 0. And we are left with x minus 1 is equal to 1. And then we add 1 on both sides. 1 minus 1 gets cancelled. X is equal to 1 plus 1, which is 2. And that is your answer. X equals 2. Once again, if you plug it in, 2 plus 2 minus 1 is equal to 3. Because 4 minus 1 is equal to 3, obviously. So now that we have that out of the way, let's go to the second solution, which is also known as combining like terms. So to combine like terms, let's write this down again. So to combine like terms, we need to first figure out what is a like term. So a like term is something that has the same type. For example, these are all like terms because they're all numbers. However, this is not part of this group because this is a variable. So we cannot combine this, we cannot add x plus 2 and you cannot get an answer, obviously, because x is in a different group than 2 and 1 and 3. So to combine like terms, you just add, subtract, divide, and multiply whichever terms are alike. So in this case, x, so then you do 2 minus 1 over here, which becomes 1. And there's nothing else on this side except 3, so we just leave 3 here. And essentially what we did is we combined these two terms to create only one term. And now this is just a one-step equation, subtract 1 from both sides, and you get x equals 2. This method is faster than subtracting 2 and then adding 1. And it is also quicker, more efficient, and I recommend to use this method. Now let's move on to some examples. And for the examples, we will do 2x plus 3 is equal to 13. 4x plus 5 is equal to 29. And for number 3, we can do x divided by 5 minus 3 is equal to 17. So right now, pause the video and go ahead and solve these equations. I'll be demonstrating the solution in just a second. Alright, so for the first one, what we will do is start off with subtracting 3 on both sides. So we start with subtraction or addition, and since this is addition, we will subtract 3, and we will also subtract 3 from this side, and we will get 2x plus 3 minus 3 is equal to 13 minus 3. And these 3 minus 3 is 0, so it becomes nothing, and we get that 2x is equal to 10. And if you divide by 2 on both sides, then you get x equals 5. That is the answer to number 1. So let's clear this off. And we have that x is equal to 5 for number 1. For number 2, 4x plus 5 is equal to 29. So what we can do is write this down. And for x, subtract 5 on both sides, and we get that 4x is equal to 24. Because 5 minus 5 is 0, 29 minus 5 is 24. And then we divide by 4 on both sides, and we get that x is equal to 6. That is our answer for number 2. And number 3 is slightly trickier because it involves division. But if you follow both of these boxes here, then you will get the answer. So first, we start with subtraction or addition. In this case, it's subtraction. So we add 3 on both sides. And we add 3 on this side as well. And we get that x divided by 5 is equal to 20. Because my negative 3 plus 3 is equal to 0, and 17 plus 3 is equal to 20. Then we follow the second one, which is multiplication or division. In this case, we have division. So we will do the opposite, and we will do multiplication. So now what we can do, multiply by 5 on both sides, and we get that x is equal to 100. Because 5, these two will cancel out, 20 times 5 is 100. And the answer to the third one is x equals 100. Now the last problem I wanted to share with you before ending this video is a little bit more complex. And what we will do, I'll show you. Alright, so the problem here is 2x divided by 3 is equal to 8. So this one is a little bit more tricky because we have multiplication and we have division. So essentially what we have is 2 times x divided by 3 is equal to 8. Now, how we can approach this problem is by, there's no subtraction or addition, so we go straight to the second one, multiplication and division, or division. So you can choose either one, but I recommend starting with division because it makes the problem more intuitive and easier. So what we can do is we can multiply by 3 on both sides because we have division right here. So we can multiply by 3. And once we multiply by 3, these 3's cancel out and we just have 2x is equal to 24. And now this is a simple one-step equation, divide by 2, and x is equal to 12. That is your answer. Now the other way that you can do this is you can also start with the multiplication because you can do multiplication or division. So 2x divided by 3 is equal to 8. So you have the multiplication here and you divide by 2 on both sides. And in this case, when you divide by 2, you are essentially multiplying by 1/2 because dividing by 2 is multiplying the same as 1/2. And here you just get 4. So in this case, these 2's cancel out and all you're left with is x divided by 3 is equal to 4. And now you can easily just multiply by 3 and you get x equals 12. So that is the essentials of solving multi-step equations. And in the next tutorial, I'll be going over equations with parentheses, which becomes a little bit more complicated, but it's still easy. I hope you learned something in this video, and if you liked it, like and subscribe and comment down what you learned. Thanks for watching.